We're going to do this two different ways. All right, I'm going to show you how to do it, go back through how to do it by hand, and then I'm going to show you how to use the calculator to do it. Okay? Which is what you wanted to see in the first place, right? How can I do this with my calculator? Now, first of all, we want, this is going to be f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c. We're trying to find the quadratic function that fits those 3 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take each of those points, put the x values in for x, and the y values in for f of x. So we take the first point, 0, 1. So we put 1 in for y and 0 in for x. And simplify it. So here we get 1 equals c. All right, that's a benefit. Pretty easy then, because then we're only going to have 2 equations instead of 3. And I'll take the second point, put negative 1 in for y and 2 in for x. So in this case, we get negative 1 equals 4a plus 2b plus c. Then we'll do it with the third point. Negative 8 is y. And we got 3 for x. So we have a times 3 squared plus b times 3 plus c. So negative 8 equals 9a plus 3b plus c. Now the nice thing about this one is that the first equation, when I simplified that one, it tells us that c equals 1. So this is done. So I can take in equation 2 here and equation 3 here, I can go ahead and put 1 in for c. So if I put 1 in for c here, I get negative 1 equals 4a plus 2b plus 1. And negative 8 equals 9a plus 3b plus 1. Now, since I want my variables on separate sides so I can either do substitution or elimination, then I need to subtract 1 from both sides. Here and here. So we get negative 2 equals 4a plus 2b, and negative 9 equals 9a plus 3b. So here's equation 3 again. Here's equation 2. So I have 2 equations with 2 variables. So I can use those 2 equations to find those 2 variables by either doing substitution or elimination. All right, so let's put them together down here. So we're trying to solve this system of equations for a and b. So the first thing is, so we either want to get rid of a or get rid of b. Which one would you like to eliminate? B. All right, so she wants to eliminate b, so we can do that first. Now you have 2 options here. One is, if you notice both these equations, the first one is everything's multiples of 2. The bottom one, everything is multiples of 3. So we could start out with and divide everything by 2 and then by 3 to make it easier also. So this one is going to become negative 1 equals 2a plus b. And this one here will become negative 3 equals 3a plus b. And I just divided everything by 3, or 2. So now I'm going to multiply the first equation by negative 1. So this will become a positive, a negative, and a negative. Multiplied by negative 1. So the b's have the same coefficient except for opposites. So when I combine them then, 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Negative 2a plus 3a is a. And negative b plus b is 0. So I just found that a equals negative 2. And so then I'll take either one of those two equations then. Negative 1 equals 2 times negative 2 plus b, because now I'm trying to find b. So I solve it, add 4 to both sides, and b equals 3. So I found A, found B, and C. So then I just need to replace A, B, and C with those numbers then. And that's my equation. So f of x equals, A is negative 2, so negative 2x squared plus 3x plus 1. What's that? Yep. And I could take my calculator, put that in my y equals negative 2x squared plus 3x plus 1, and go to the table and check my points. And see if I had the same points then on my table as I had in the original. All right, we did 0, 1, what was it, 1, 2, and 3, negative 8. So with this method of doing this by hand, you've got the standard quadratic equation, or for a function, ax squared plus bx plus c. You take the points they give you, plug x in for x and y in for y, and simplify it and do it for all the points. And then you have to put them together using substitution and elimination to be able to solve. Now, you can also use your calculator to find them. So let's stay with these same points. And if you remember, we did do some linear regression, right? A while ago. Right? So take out your calculator. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put these numbers in our lists. Okay, let me So here's our steps. Number 1, put the x's in list 1 and the y's in list 2. Okay, so I take my calculator and to get to the list, remember it's stat and then edit. If you have anything in your list, go ahead and clear them by going to the list number and hitting clear and enter. So we put in the x's first, 0, 2, and 3. Those go in list 1 because those are my x values. And then put 1, -1, and -8 in list 2, my y values. And make sure that they match up. All right? 0, 1, 2, -1, 3, -8. If they don't, this won't work right. Okay. Now, does anybody remember how to get a scatter plot so I can see them on a graph? Okay, because it'd be nice to be able to see those on a graph, first of all. Okay, yep, you got to turn on. And so if you go to your y equals, if you have anything in there, clear it. But all of our calculators should be set to do a scatter plot. So if you just go to your y equals and go up to plot 1, hit enter, that should turn your scatter plot on. Right? Or you can go to second y equals and check to make sure it says plot 1 is on, and then looking at the picture here, and it should show just a bunch of dots for a scatter plot. So we're going to have turn our plot on for a scatter plot, and then graph it by doing zoom stat or zoom 9. And we can see that what that does is it sets our graph so it shows those 3 points. So there it is on the graph, and now we're going to go to stat, over to calc, and then quadratic regression, because we're doing a quadratic function. So stat, over to calculate, and then number 5 is quad-reg or quadratic regression. Now, your calculator should be set so that list 1, or your x list is list 1 and your y list is list 2. Right? If you end up using other lists, then you could type in the appropriate ones and it would still work. Now when it says come down here, let's go to store regression. We want to put this in our y equals. So if I go to alpha trace, alpha and trace, you should see all of your y equals here, and we just want to put it in y1. So we hit enter there and then calculate. So look, here's my values. A is -2, B is 3, and C is 1, just like I did manually. Okay, did it by hand. So if I look at my graph now, it goes perfectly through those 3 points. It's a perfect fit. So I would say that f of x equals -2x squared plus 3x plus 1. Okay, that is my quadratic function that fits those points. All right, so let's we're going to do this problem here also in the time we have left. Here, a table shows the cost of circular plastic wading pools based on the pool's diameter. How many of you have a circular plastic wading pool laying around your house somewhere? Okay. All right, we have one at our house. We use it for the dog. It's his favorite place during the summertime. Throw the ball for him. He chases the ball, comes back, wades through the pool to get cooled down a little bit, drops the ball back off for you, throw the ball for him. He does the same thing. All right. Gets too hot, he'll go and lay down in it. So they want us to find a quadratic model for the cost of a pool, given its diameter, and use that model to estimate the cost of a pool with a diameter of 8 feet. So when we're all done here, we're going to have a function, and we're also going to fill in this column over here where if that was 8, what would the price be? And so we're going to use our calculator to do this then. So we're going to put this data in our list. Okay, the diameters are going to go in list 1. So first thing we want to do is clear our list so there's nothing in them. Go up to the list number, hit clear, and enter. So your lists are completely empty first. Four, 5, 6, and 7 will go in list 1. Those are our diameters. $19.95, $20.25, $20, $25, and $34.95. So we put the numbers in our list. Now I have my plot turned on, right? So we could hit zoom 9 to be able to see the graph, the scatter plot. It's already turned on. Zoom 9. Okay, there's what the graph looks like. And now we want to find the equation of that line that's going to go through those points. So we go back to stat, over to calc, and then number 5, quadratic regression. And then once again, we're going to go down and put this in Y1. Store the regression in Y1. So alpha and trace. And there's Y1. So there's our numbers. So we have our function then is, so f of x equals 2.41x squared minus 21.56x plus 67.64. There's our function. Now to find out what the cost of a pool with a diameter of 8 feet, well, what's that 8 going to go in for then? Okay, goes in for x. So I could go back to my calculator. I can do two things. I can just plug 8 in for x into the equation I have now, the function. Or I could go back to my calculator and just go to my table and scroll down until I hit x equals 8. So the cost for 8-foot diameter pool is $49.54. Period. And you can do a problem like that in a couple of minutes. Right? Plug them into your list and like that. Okay? Yes, does it go a lot harder by hand? Certainly. But you can check it with your calculator. So here's what we're going to do then. Is I'm going to give you an assignment to work on tonight. And you may or may not get all of that done, but then I'm going to give you one for tomorrow. All right, so get as much of that done by hand as you can, or you can go online. There's some calculators online that you can actually do some stuff on them. They'll actually find some quadratic functions for you. Right? So you can work with them online. So here's your assignment for tonight then.